Hi, it is day 27 in a third world prison. This story began on April 6, 2025, and on my 27th day, it is May 3rd, 2025. It's a Saturday. And like every Saturday, we're all basically on semi-lockdown. In other words, we don't get outdoor time. We're not allowed to make any phone calls. We have to stay in our cells all day except for 2 showers. One at approximately 7 a.m. and then the second one at approximately 4 or 5 o'clock before lockdown, which typically starts between 4 and 5 for us. We do get 2 meals a day, the first one being right after our 7 a.m. shower. That is a black bean soup. That's every single day. And with their morning tea, which is basically just diluted hot chocolate. And bread that's literally the size of your hand, but makes everyone sick. So it's a lot of bread, but it's not healthy or good for you. For some reason, the women that were there for 6 months or longer all have bloated stomachs and have significant weight gain after a year of being at the Central Belize prison eating their food. The second meal of the day is typically after showering, approximately 4 or 5 o'clock, around that same time that we're showering. So literally we shower and then immediately afterwards we get served food. And Monday, I'll say Saturday through Thursday, it is like a broiled chicken. It's not baked. It's like they cook it in a pot. And rice and beans. It's mostly rice with like sprinkles of beans in it. And then again, no, there's no bread this time. It's the tea, the diluted hot chocolate tea. And then that's it. If you're lucky and you have commissary, then you can order food from the commissary. And it's pretty broad. We never actually understood what was all in the commissary because there was no book for us to look at. There was a book circulating, but for some reason they made it hard for us. They wouldn't let us have access to it. So we would just have to kind of guess and see what they had. So the day before, so say you want something from the shop on a Thursday, you have to order it either Tuesday or Wednesday by taking a piece of paper like this big and then listing the things you want. And you have to know the price. So you have to write like saltines, $1. And then whatever else you can think of. Cookies, chocolate cookies, $1. You can also buy toiletries like shampoo, body wash. You can even buy the scrunchie that you use to shower with. You can get shower shoes. You can get a shirt. You can get pants. You can even get shoes, like outdoor shoes. So there are a lot of options. The only difficult part about it was we didn't have a catalog to actually look at to determine what were all the options. We kind of had to play like this guessing game. And you have to guess how much it is correctly, each item, add it up, and then write down the total amount. So say after itemizing what I want, and I guess the approximation of how much it'll cost, then that's how much I have to write the total. Like I want to spend $20. So I have to say that first thing in the morning to the person that's going around asking who wants to buy. So I'll say, oh, I want to. And they're like, okay, how much do you want to spend? $20. So they'll write it in a notebook. And then later, maybe like 2-3 hours later, they'll come back and say, okay, what do you want to spend the $20 on? And you have to come up with a list that meets that exact amount, $20. If you don't, for example, if there's money left over that you know, like say everything I ordered ended up being only $15, well, I told them 20. So I'll get $5 worth of gum, lollipops, or some other, like, oh, and peppermint candy to compensate and cover the remaining $5 that I didn't properly account for when I made my shopping list. So they purposely make it difficult for you. And that's like something that's very consistent at this prison. The attitude is, well, you're in prison. Things shouldn't be easy for you. And so there's always these like little situations that you're put in that are extremely difficult, don't make a lot of sense, and kind of create this sense of like chaos and this like sense of like almost like urgency or anxiety, because nothing is smooth. Nothing is simple. It's always a struggle. It's always a challenge. The commissary is an example of that. So if you're lucky, if you can get food, there are people that get ramen noodles, they'll get bread, they'll buy a bag of beans. But in other words, they're not stuck with those 2 meals that we get every single day without changing. You can buy things at the store and you can change up what you have to eat. The only other challenge behind that is if you buy food that needs to be refrigerated, which there are people who would do that, there's nowhere to put it in the refrigerator. So, for example, if you want ice cream and you buy ice cream, you need to eat all that ice cream up that day. Or if you want milk, like a little can of milk, you have to drink it up all day or let it sit out overnight. And some people would still eat food that should be refrigerated overnight. They would leave it out and eat it the next day. I'm not quite sure how they did that. But, and then the challenge around that are the cockroaches. Because people who would buy things that should be refrigerated and there's no refrigerator and they leave it out in their cell, their cell would be full of cockroaches overnight. Day 27. Jeremiah 32, verse 27. I am the Lord, the God of all living things. Is anything too hard for me? Last weekend, I had visions of Makita. She was in an African printed dress that I bought her in California, and she was walking away from me. It was the back, all I could see was the back of her head and her body. And I had this feeling that came over me, this feeling of concern and worry all night. When I spoke to my mom the previous week, I'd asked her to please check in on my daughter, try to get a virtual visit with her, get a look at her, make sure she's okay, because I felt like something wasn't right. I felt like she wasn't okay. I'm going to call her on Monday. Thursday night, this past week, about 6 p.m., there was a news broadcast over the speaker for prisoners. The newscaster talked about a 2-year-old abduction that was found in Belize with one of the parents, me. The reporter commented that the Belize police were working with the FBI to find the little girl and to return her to the U.S. They mentioned she was located because of a Facebook post. The news story was rebroadcasted Friday night, Friday evening. The prison officers have access to the television, and they told me there's a video of my daughter walking away from the camera with immigration officers, just like my vision.